All right, welcome back to Inside the 90, and we got a special episode for everybody today. So Jamie and I are welcomed in the studio by our good friend Cam Lawson.
Welcome, Cam.
Thank you.
Cam.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in the EOS ecosystem for quite a while now. We're coming up on, I think, 7 years. So 2019 was when I first was introduced to EOS. And so now I'm working as a fractional community builder for a number of organizations. I'm teaming up with Wonder, with Jamie, and then another organization called Byte 7, which is an organizational assessment, kind of gauge health, culture. It's an objective way to measure that. And then I'm also doing some work for 90. So got my hands in a lot of different things of really deepening just the community aspect, and they all play within the EOS space.
I love it. I love it. And you always joke that Cam is your queen bee.
Yeah, Cam's the queen bee, man.
Yeah.
So, so for this, what we're going to talk about today is networking, right? Some do's and don'ts and some things that we've learned. And actually first proposed, I was like, hey, why don't I interview y'all because you're both such strong networkers, and you kicked it back and was like, wait, you're the strongest networker. And I'm like, no, you are. So I think both of y'all are great at it, but I think we've all got things that we can share today. But
Absolutely.
The queen bee comes from this analogy that my coach, so Gil Garrettson from BizTrack has been my coach for 2.5 years, and he's amazing. And he just, he's had a framework called the 12 Triggers for 30 years, right? It's very similar to an EOS business operating system framework, but it's just for marketing. But he talks about this idea of bees in a hive. And when you think about what a community is and what networking is, you're trying to find people that share a common good, right? That share a common purpose, and that community is a hive. And the best way to really build the relationships in the hive is actually be a bee in a hive, right? So when I was starting a recruiting agency, 3 or 4 years ago, that was the model. It was like I was an agency owner. I was doing recruiting for other agency owners. So my hive, I'm out of the hive now, but I'm looking in the hive, and they see that I empathize with them, right? But then really the way you network through a hive is who are the queen bees. And so a lot of times that's consultants. So like, Andrew, you're a consultant in the EOS community, right? You're one of those queen bees. You're very out there promoting it. Cam in the EOS community is very much one of those bees, right? Just really involved and trusted. Yeah. So I think just setting the stage for networking, you want to make sure you know your hive that you want to network in. And then you want to start building really strong relationships with those queen bees, of which 2 of you are sitting here for me.
I love it. I love it.
I think we can all be queen bees.
Yes.
If you want to, you can make it happen.
Yeah, right?
Yes. But there are no king bees. You are queen bee.
Oh, man. I will never forget that conversation when Jamie called me his queen bee, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Zero contact.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I own that now.
Yes.
I hold it with pride.
I love it. So tease us up that we're going to talk about networking today. When we're talking about what the 3 of us were going to talk about, that's how we met, is through networking, and we all network in a little bit different ways. So I'm going to just pose some questions to the group, and we'll just kind of work through them. So the first question I have is if you had one rule to live by when it comes to networking, what would that rule be?
I'm just laughing because mine's don't network at network events.
Please explain.
I mean, there's networking to be busy and do things, and there's networking to really be known, right? And I think that there is a time and place for networking events. Don't get me wrong, but you can spend all your time just focusing on the center of influences or the queen bees without ever actually going after your target prospects. So I think there's a balance between like, hey, I'm networking with other networking people versus like, no, I'm networking to get to a prospect. And I think that's the part where you got to stay focusing down on like, all right, I can fill my calendar to tell people that may be able to tell other people about me, or I can network to find the person that I need to get to as a prospect or a suspect and start going directly. So I think there's just that balance.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I would say for me specifically, I read the book The Go-Giver. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that concept, right?
Absolutely.
But for me, when I think about how I go in and network, it's all about, hey, I'm not going to necessarily expect anything back, but I'm going to go and just find out the needs that people have. I'm not going to go into a networking event. I mean, like you, it can be overwhelming when you go to these huge networking events and it's like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to every single person. And then you get into 50 surface level conversations where it's just, what do you do? What do you do? And it's like, I would much rather go deep with 2-3 people, get their information, and then find out how I can help them. Can I make an introduction? Can I connect them with a service provider, or can I help them with a specific need they have? And just what can I do?
Yeah.
And what inevitably happens with that is people remember that, because they remember that, wow, man, that he said he was going to make that intro, and then they made that intro. And then it has a way of coming back around,
Correct. Yeah.
which is the whole idea of the go-getter or go-giver, because you don't want to be a go-getter, you want to be a go-giver.
Yes.
And so it just comes around. So that's always been my philosophy. And I've seen a lot of success in that, of just, I cannot tell you how many people at the end of a conversation, they're like, hey, what can I do for you? You've said this to me a couple of times.
Absolutely.
Like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I love that you opened with this, because I have a few don'ts in networking, and they're all around this topic. So it's so true of effective networking is really effectively providing value for people, right?
And I think, Cam, your positivity, right? You're a very positive person. You're a very abundance-minded person. And that's just evident when you interact with you, when you see you. That's, people know you for that too. So I think there's just that your energy alone is impactful when people meet you.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's my core values.
You're a queen bee, man.
Yeah, the queen bee, man. Your wings are buzzing all the
time. But yeah, I think it is one of those things that we all know, those individuals where it's like, hey, you want to grab coffee? And it's like, no, I don't, because I know where this is going to go. And so it's just, I've never wanted to be that person.
Yeah.
I want people, when they're like, I want to have coffee with Cam because I heard how incredible it is and how I leave uplifted, or I get exactly what I need out of it. That's what I want to be known for. I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, don't go to coffee with him because you're just going to get a pitch.
Correct. Yeah,
that's the worst. So.
Which is interesting, because that leads into my rule to live by, which is it's not about being smart. It's about being vibrant, right? And so there's this quote, and I wish I knew the origin to give credit to it, because I say it all the time. But specifically in networking, this quote really sticks with me, which is, there's a ton of doors of opportunity in the world. And if you're smart, you can probably open a few. If you're brilliant, you can open a few more. But if you're vibrant, the doors will open for you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so it's not about, for me, it takes the guard down. It's not about how I act in the room or what I do, or am I saying the right things, or am I going to the right events? Am I following up appropriately? I just need to be unapologetically me and love life and share what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that will allow me to be effective networker. And how that shows up really in my life is, like, I love a few things. I love golf. I love spending time on the boat, on the lake. I love working out, right? Going on hikes. And so I need to be more vibrant in my life, and I can share what I do with people I meet on the hiking trail, and that can turn into a great relationship. And I think when we compartmentalize it, it blocks us.
So something you said probably a year and a half ago on that, like, all right, knowing that you're just you being comfortable at whatever setting you are, but to go to the extreme, like, you packed up, you moved from Michigan to Greenville, South Carolina with an RV and a boat, knowing no one. Mm-hmm. And how did you do it? Because now you're plugged in, right? You're queen bee in the whole hive of entrepreneurialism, growing companies in Greenville, South Carolina. How did you do it? Like, what was your networking strategy?
You two are both talking about being intentional, and I don't like you can easily spend time with a bunch of coffees that don't mean anything. I think you have to earn the right to get to that point. And so you can't go into it having these theories of like, I'm only going to meet with people that can connect me with my prospects. You can't do that in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so one is I do think it was telling myself every morning you have to be vibrant more than you have to be smart. Like just go have a ton of fun in the world, you know, and that's going to lead to good things. And then the other one is the understanding that you have to go wide before you can go deep.
Yeah.
And so I was having, I don't know, on average 10 coffees a week in the beginning. And you just have to kind of go through it. And then you can start to say, okay, here's my tribe. Here's where I want to spend my time. And I think I've shown this chart to both of you at some point, but there's a grid that I made and it has everybody I met, their name down the side. And then criteria. And this sounds weird, but it really helps me.
So you were judging us?
I was hardcore judging you.
I want to know where I was.
Hardcore judging you. But it's judging me it's like judging the relationship. It's just criteria. One is likability. And that's my likability of spending time with this individual. Another one is knowledge. How knowledgeable are they about what I do? Their network and their responsiveness. And then 1 through 5, and it kind of gives like, okay, this is where I probably spend some time. And I spent all my time on people that I liked and had little knowledge about what I did. That's why I'd put extra time in. Because I wouldn't spend, if you were a 3 or lower on likability, you could connect me to all the business in the world, right? But I just wouldn't spend a ton of time there because I wasn't fulfilled, which took away my vibrancy. So I think those are just little tricks.
I always feel very fortunate that my wife chose me. I was like, with all this, just, all these criteria, I got so fortunate, but now I feel even more judged.
I had a spreadsheet, you didn't even know it.
I've always respected, though, your intentionality behind doing the things that you love, like golf, because I think it's so easy to get into, well, here is so-and-so who's really good at networking. This is what they do. So I'm just going to copy paste their approach. It's like, well, maybe you being a speaker and doing all these things isn't your thing. Why wouldn't the world? But yeah, it worked for him, but he's different than you. Yeah. Why would you lean into things that you don't enjoy doing? If you don't like going to networking events, why would you go to networking events?
Don't go to them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just, because we just want the easy button that just, all right, I'm going to copy this.
I also think it comes from a little bit of an experience of, I've done it before where I've done what I think is the right thing to do. And I fast forward a year and I don't like what I've built. Like I've lost the love and I don't have the joy. And so that enjoyment side of it and what brings me energy, I really didn't want to lose from day one. I didn't want to get onto a path that you just lose sight of it.
Yeah.
So my tribe, I call it, or my hive it's people that I want to not just grab coffee with. I'm calling on a Saturday and saying, what are you and your wife doing tonight? Let's go grab dinner.
Yeah.
Right? They're people I want to spend time with. Yeah.
And then, so networking actually brought all three of us together. I think, and, I give credit to our friend, my Andrew's friend, Zane Metters. Shout out to Zane. But I used to joke and say Zane was the unofficial mayor of Greenville because everybody says, like, Jamie, you know everybody. And I'm like, no, I know the guy who knows everybody.
Yeah.
But I would also say I'm that guy that is just like, if I'm the guy that knows a guy for everything. Yeah. So, but Zane is a consummate networker, and he's moved to Pawleys Island now, and he's selling real estate. So if you want to buy a house in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, look up Zane Metters. But Zane connected you and I, and I guess y'all connected, and then you were talking to EOS, and of course Zane, before we even met, I was EOS obsessed, right? He's like, you need to meet my friend Jamie. Yeah. So Zane introduced us. Also, for a cool story, my wife and I met because Zane and I were at the Cooper River Bridge Run in 1996. to date ourselves. And I was there for the Cooper River Bridge watch because I'm not an overachiever when it comes to activity. But Zane,
Not the run, the watch.
not the run. I was there for the watch. So I slept in. Zane ran, and then we started doing the bar crawl together. And we ended up at this. Of course, we didn't know where we were going to stay. Like we were like back then. It's the 90s. You didn't have cell phones and texting people. We were just like, I don't know. We're going to trails and we'll find a place to stay. And we ended up at an oyster roast, and there was a bunch of girls there. And Zane said, "Hey, we're leaving to go to dinner with 8 girls." And I was like, "Cool, I'm in." So we go to dinner at A.W. Shucks in Charleston down in the market, all shucks. And Zane went to sit down at a table. Like I didn't know any of these people. He knew one of the 8. That's how we ended up in the group. And he said, "I'm Zane Metters. What's your name and what do you like to do?" And Beth said, "I'm Beth and I like to mountain bike." And Zane literally took her hand and grabbed me by the shoulder and said, "Jamie, you need to sit next to Beth. Beth likes to mountain bike. Jamie likes to mountain bike." Boom. Sat us down. 30 years later, full family and everything else, the rest is history. But it was, so something else to talk about is being known.
Yeah.
And, that was where Zane really is passionate about understanding you and knowing you. And when you know people, you can connect those dots, really quick and easily.
When I wrote down, lead with curiosity, not your pitch.
Yes.
And it's really hard at times to lead with curiosity, but I think it's a go-giver mentality because you have to be able to be curious to be able to support, right? But curiosity leads into understanding a person at a deeper level than just what their offering is and who they know and just network. It's more about who they are as a person to be able to then to make those connections and to add a deeper level as well. I also heard that one of the easiest ways to be memorable to somebody is you find a instant connection or connection as fast as you can. So the mountain bike thing, how quickly can you find a commonality? And by doing that, you're going to be more memorable to that individual.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is by being curious.
Yeah. And honestly, when you're asking questions and someone else is talking about themselves, they actually remember that you asked them a bunch of questions, even though they were the ones doing all the talking, right? So there's just much more. We all want to tell our story, but you can actually learn. Someone can feel like they're getting to know you just by you actually getting to know them.
Yeah. Well, that curiosity is such a lacking thing in the world today. I mean, there's a powerful phrase that you can, when someone's sharing, it's "tell me more." Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
That clearly means a lot to you. Like, I want to know more. Man, you're going to make them feel like the queen bee that they are.
Yes.
But and then allows them to elaborate because you can stay surface. And I feel like so much of networking is that. It's just, it stays at that surface level. But the more you can start to drive down a little bit more and, hey, tell me more about that, you're going to get that commonality where it's, oh, well, that's interesting. That experience led you to feel that way. And then you can relate in a way, and then you've got a real relationship at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think the other side of it is staying top of mind too. So I can't tell you how many times there's a mentor that I have that he calls it windshield time. Anytime I'm in the car, I love talking on the phone in the car. And so I will just call people that I haven't talked to in maybe 90 days. Like, hey, I was thinking about you. Most of the time I leave a voicemail. Hey, I was just driving down the road, thought about you. Let's check in sometime. Would love to hear how things are going. No agenda, absolutely nothing that I'm expecting out of that conversation. I've driven probably millions of dollars of business over the years just doing that.
Yeah.
Just picking up the phone, staying top of mind. Because then they're like, oh man, I was meaning to send you that referral or whatever it is. And I had no intention behind it.
Especially when you don't call for that. You call because of something you care.
Just curiosity and caring.
Just care. Yeah. So it's interesting. Let's break these down a little bit and get a little more tactical, right? So let's talk about maybe digital networking with like LinkedIn and community groups. And then let's talk about in person. So I'm not a digital networking expert. You two are. So let's kind of open that up to start. Maybe start with like LinkedIn. Any tips and tricks on LinkedIn networking?
Be sure to send in-mails. People love to get
Make sure that they're AI driven.
Yes.
Yeah, the best thing is start with a quick question.
Right.
Yeah,
Do your
quick
outreach,
question.
go straight for the ask, and pitch them.
Yes. Just bonus points if you attach your deck.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that if you didn't catch the sarcasm. One thing that you've actually said before, I don't know if you're the one that came up with this. In my brain, you have come up with this profound statement, but LinkedIn relationships are won in the comments, not the inbox.
Correct.
And that, if we wanted to take a digital philosophy to live by, that's always been my philosophy. Don't go. I mean, nothing is worse than when you connect with somebody and then 30 seconds later, a little AI bot has dropped a message in like, hey,
Yes.
blah, 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 all about them.
Sign up for my newsletter.
Right.
Yeah.
No. But those people that have connected, then they start interacting with your content and then they're commenting, 5 posts, they're commenting something,
Correct.
They're adding value, adding questions, conversing. Then when they hit me with the inbox, hey, I've really enjoyed your content, would love to get together and just talk. I feel like I know them at that point,
Correct.
number one. And then
Yeah.
number two, I'm a lot more inclined to meet with them because I feel like there's been at least some value exchange
Absolutely.
versus pitch right up the front. And I know they're strategic in it. I know what they do.
Yeah.
They want to get an opportunity to have a lead or a prospect come in their pipeline, but they go about it in such a different way. I think so many people just do a shotgun spaghetti at the wall approach.
And it's authentic. Even though there's a system and there's a strategy, it's still an authentic system and authentic strategy.
Yes.
They're adding value, they're commenting, they're seeing your world, they're engaging in your world, and then they're saying, hey, I've engaged in this and I generally am curious and I like you. Let's take it further. Let's jump on a Zoom call and have a conversation.
Yeah, I think I go back to, this is the early era of social media, in advising clients, and kind of my internal strategy from a brand perspective, which now is, I think, directly relevant from a personal perspective, but is with social, my recommendation to anyone has always been timely, relevant, and interesting. Right. It's like timely is like, it is current trends. Pop culture, all that stuff is out there. What's going on in the world, right? That's now. Relevant is, and I have a group of, I have followers or people that I'm engaging with to where the timely stuff I'm talking about is relevant to them, but then just be interesting. Don't be boring. And so here's a case study from a brand perspective is not near as exciting as a brand doing something that's timely, relevant, and interesting. And personally, that's what a comment is. It's timely because someone just posted something and this is active. It's relevant because I'm speaking to the content in a comment that most likely people reading that are interested in whatever that topic is. And then be interesting when you do it, right? Do it in a way that's not I call people out, especially, I love it. I hate it. I love to call it out now publicly. When I see someone that knows me and they do an AI comment, I do a little, one of the little emojis like this. And I'm like, AI ? Because I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The one thing you cannot do is you can automate connecting. You cannot automate connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can use all the tools in the world that help you get to more people that you can be timely, relevant, and interesting with. But you can't allow it to be the thing that's trying to actually be you. I have a huge integrity issue with it.
Let's take that. Let's go a little bit deep in that, because there are tools out there now that are auto hunters, if you will.
Correct.
They'll find, the ICP for you and they'll go in and they'll message on your behalf. What is the healthy balance of utilizing those tools? Because I have used some of those in the past where we have a tool that will go out, but I build all the messaging.
Exactly.
Right? It's me that's saying it and it's sending on my behalf. It's not interpreting what this comment is and speaking on my behalf.
Correct.
And then we work with clients where we automate LinkedIn, but we write the campaigns, they approve them, and then they just they're not tech savvy or they don't have the time. So then we set those up and, we manage just the outreach of it, but it is not spammy. It is not quick question.
Yeah.
And so actually kind of a little bit of my approach there is, I never add a comment when I connect with someone,
I also think it's depending on what network you need to build and what you're trying to do.
Yes.
So I would never do that. I would never automate connections.
Yeah.
because I don't want 100 connections tomorrow.
Correct.
New
Yes.
connections.
Yes.
Like there's no need or desire, and it doesn't fit what I'm trying to build. So I think there's a component of what are you trying to do too, right? If you're selling a software and you're charged with biz dev and going out there, that's probably a decent approach because you can handle that and that's what you need to do, right? But for me, like I always say, what fits really well is one new client a quarter. So one new client a quarter, it's all relationship based stuff. So I'm only asking for a connection through somebody in a relationship based. Yeah. But I do think to your question of what's healthy, I think we kind of uncovered it there. It's like the messaging that's going to them cannot be written by AI.
Correct.
The interaction cannot be AI or automated. But me just getting in front of somebody or just making the connection, I think automation would be acceptable.
It's so easy to get. I mean, the last thing, and I've got a PhD where I studied comment sections on social media. That's true.
Yeah.
So like, I like
literally a dissertation.
I have a emotional with that. No. But there is I think I don't want us as a society to lose because I see the AI posts, I see the AI comments, and I worry about a society that gets to that where it's just a bunch of AI bots going back and forth. It's like we can't lose the heart of connection. I love what you said because you can automate certain aspects of it, but to truly build a connection with somebody, it has to be human on human.
Yeah.
And the more elements of communication we can add back into that, the better.
Yeah. I'm not fearful of it because I think it's only going to strengthen the desire for the connection for people, right? Like, so even if AI gets better because right now you can see it, when it's AI, 90% of the time you can call it out, right? So I think naturally you can just almost feel that it's not human. Like there's just not this human connection to it. It's weird.
It follows a similar format too. So those that use it, it's like
you can pick it up.
It's the same.
Oh yeah, restate the question.
Because of that growing, don't you think people are going to desire the human connection more? So when you do it, it actually is even more impactful.
And again, community guy over here, right? So I really think going into even as early as next year, you're going to see this push for more organizations leaning into community related things because as humans, that's what we're designed.
Yeah.
I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of years of documented human history, it's been surrounded by community.
Yes.
And so the technology has advanced so fast in the last 25 years that we're still hunter-gatherers in our little brains, and that hasn't changed. And so I think you're going to see, I'm so sick of reading another AI post. I want to connect with real humans who have real problems and emotions, and I want to connect with more of those people.
Extrapolate the digital world to the physical world. What are you going to be at a networking event and a freaking robot walks in and says, "Hello, my name is," and it's proxy for someone who didn't want to go but wanted to automate the system for themselves.
Right. No, the best part is they're all going to say it at one time to everybody. Yes. It's like an army of drones come in and they all say it and then they all leave.
But we
exchange business cards.
What an opportunity we have to leverage and be leaders in a platform like LinkedIn, which it's not going away. Yeah. Right. There's so many users. So we can leverage it in a way that is healthy because it is an opportunity for us to connect and go to our target markets and build relationships in a real and authentic way.
So, and there is that dichotomy because the way that I view LinkedIn is probably different than the way that you view LinkedIn. I view LinkedIn as a nurturing relationship. So I am not going to just connect with somebody on LinkedIn just because. Right? Usually I've met you in person because of an event or some relationship I got connected with, or somebody has said, "Hey, you should connect with this person," and I'll do it and I'll reference that, and now I can nurture and just stay top of mind in that forum, right? So I think it also is just depending. Like there's all these different channels. You have to. There's no right or wrong on how you utilize each channel. Just do what feels good to you.
Yeah.
And is authentic to you.
And I think that's a really important thing that a lot of people are like, I need to be doing this. I don't know how, or I'm not interested, so let someone else do it. That's not networking, right? So, I mean, my kind of anchor is the idea of being known, right? So we all want to be known for who we are, right? Our authentic self. I want you to know me for me. And I think that's, from a networking perspective, that's my natural state, is just be like, hey, I like connecting with people. I want to know you, and I want people that I want to have deep relationships with people that know me.
Yeah.
And so how do you use it in a way just to be known? And I've drawn it out. I can't recall all of it right now, but there is this kind of wheel that I've used, which is first on LinkedIn. It's a professional networking place. You're not supposed to talk personal stuff, right? We want to be known. So the first thing is have a profile that explains who you are and looks interesting. And then it's okay to be personal. We want to connect with humans, right? So you have to earn the right to actually be professional with other people and talk about what you do and all that. Because I think it's first about be interesting so that people will follow you or connect, relevant ones, right? And then it's I need to know that you're human. So the posts that actually have gotten the most likes, if that's a metric, are personal stories, that people can identify with. And then after that, I moved from kind of being interesting to being personal to what is it that you believe, right? So because you can be very interesting, you can be a very interesting person, but just we don't share the same beliefs on marketing or brand, right? So, and then after that, that's when the professional comes in. It's like, oh, if you're interesting, I know you personally, and I know what you believe. Now business will come because I'm connecting with you on that level of stuff.
Will Stewart, shout out to Will. We're in his studio right now. Yeah. Justin, you could probably speak to this even stronger than I can, but it talks about kind of two aspects in exactly aligned with what you're saying. And one is that be okay being in a category. So many times people are trying to don't put me in this bucket. I'm really kind of this. I'm not that. It's okay to be placed in a category because it's simpler for other people to say, Andrew's the EOS guy.
Correct.
I'm okay with that. Just put me in a bucket, right? But then talk about your point of view. Yeah. And your point of view is what you're saying.
Yes.
Is okay, in that category, here is my point of view. And state it strongly and be okay being that person.
Yes.
Because that's going to be what people will draw to you. Because now you're connecting with them on a human level.
And the worst thing, and I'm not a fan of the word personal brand, but I do think if you look at where the state of the world is, Elon has more recognition than Tesla, right? Trump has more recognition than the president of the United States. Like the personal brand has now become a thing because we all have parasocial relationships where you feel like you know these people because you have so much access to the stuff that they're saying and publishing, right? Yeah, so I think that's all that the personal brand, right? Because on LinkedIn, you're a person. People engage with people more than they do the companies, right? So personal brand is inherently a part of your brand, your reputation. That's what it is, right? And that's the online side where people have very parasocial relationships. Like you bump into someone in a coffee shop and they're like, you're that LinkedIn guy. My wife's like, oh God. But now that's where, the social becomes in real life. But Cam, let's talk about actual in real life networking, like in-person networking events. What's your approach to that?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think there's an aspect of your digital and your physical life can start to just intertwine a little bit because my strategy with using the digital is to stay top of mind. So I am one of those crazy people that does post most days, right? I leverage that and I enjoy that. It allows me to be creative
and it comes
get
through
my thoughts out and you can
natural.
And you never sell anything.
Right. I mean, it's like me doing a bicycle kick because in my 30s, still hurting from that. But, and I cannot tell you how many people in both digitally and in real life came up and are like, hey, that's crazy. Like, did you play soccer? Yeah, I did. I got to play in college and blah, 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 blah. Man, that's really cool. Like, it's crazy you would put that on LinkedIn and just the conversation starts.
Yes.
And in certain situations, it may lead to a more fruitful from a business standpoint conversations. Others, it just deepen the relationship. It's like, oh man, I got to play soccer in college too. Oh, no way, where? So I think that's for me, it's just staying top of mind. I don't know what piece of content, whether that's personally or professionally, is going to resonate with somebody. And the more that I post, the more often I'm staying in people's feeds to where then when they see me in the coffee shop or they think of something and they're like, I need to call Cam about that.
Yeah.
That's always been my, let's call it strategy. And I'm just leveraging it, the digital side in the physical world. So I think that's, for me, the top of mind aspect that is how I go in and drive ultimately my end goal of connecting with people. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but if I stay top of mind, I'm good.
And I think we can transition to some like do's and don'ts of in-person and digital. But I think that just that thread of what you're talking about there is being personable, caring about them as people, having those common touch points that are not work touch points. Communication of somebody else that played soccer and you have played soccer. Now that relationship is so much more just because you have this common touch point to discuss, right? So let's jump into a few do's and don'ts of networking in general. And I have one that I'll kind of kick us off on. It's just simple. And I would not do networking at all unless you truly care about people and you want to have good relationships with other human beings and you have capacity for that in your life. So like don't go into a role that you're going to network if the only purpose of networking is to get business.
Correct. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So just know that about you. Do you guys have any do's or don'ts?
Well, you just queued a thought. I'll give Forrest Kerr, a shout out here for net weaving. And that was his word on one of the earlier Inside the 90 podcasts where you talk about really just you're weaving a fabric of connections. And when you're really wired to connect with people, that's kind of what ends up happening. You end up having this fabric of a network that provides trust, right? And people do reach out to you because they know that you aren't going to sell them anything, right? They just know that like, hey, you're willing to help. You're naturally going to give without worrying about getting. So I think that idea of networking, flip the switch and think about net weaving, which part of that too is it takes time to build the fabric, right? So you're not going to go to an event, get 13 business cards and walk out and call them all and close them on a deal, right? Go to an event, have 3 good relationships, walk out and just let the quality of that network be more important than the quantity.
Yes. And you have to enjoy that.
Yes.
And just want that.
Yeah.
And without that, I think your intentionality of networking is going to be, it's going to show through and it's not going to be effective.
And I said Forrest Kerr, didn't I? It's Forrest Kerr. I know that Forrest. Sorry, it just came out wrong.
Yeah, Forrest is awesome. He was such a great individual, great human. He's got the coolest tattoo
He
ever.
does, yes.
It's like a integrator, and it's just the process. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a conversation starter.
Yes.
Like he lives that net weaving thing out.
Correct, yes. Well, that is, if you want a best practice for networking, put your process on your arm with a tattoo because that will lead to some conversations.
Might be
Visionary has
level.
a thought that goes in, right? I forget the whole process.
Yeah.
But
He's a good LinkedIn follow and connection.
Absolutely,
He'll
yes.
accept it. But and I would say, kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, having that mentality as you go into a networking event of, all right, I don't need to talk to every single person. If I can get around, that's great. And if conversations happen, but going in with the mentality of I'm going to have 2 good conversations.
Yeah.
Because you can handle that. If it's an hour and a half, 2-hour networking event, if you can't have 2 good conversations, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Get over in the corner and post up or whatever and have good conversations instead of feeling that pressure of going in. Because I've been that where you go and it's like, well, my company's sending me to this. I better make sure I make the most out of it. And you feel that pressure. And then you end up getting just a bunch of garbage leads that it's just, you got a business card.
Yeah.
Cool. If you have a memorable conversation with somebody, though, then you follow up with a LinkedIn, you take it to the digital world, because maybe that is you're out in Atlanta or something, and everybody flew in and you're not going to see them in person. There are ways that the digital world can help you with that. But I think it's having that, all right, I had 2 good conversations. We got really deep. I'm going to connect with them on LinkedIn and maintain that relationship. That's, to me, the best due that I can give, because it takes that pressure off of you having to just network to network.
And for me personally, I had a cool story last night. So I can remember conversations, right? I cannot remember a name to save my life. Like I can, even in the moment, I can't get my children's names out, right? So if you ever work with me and I have an event or we do some form of a big meeting, name tags are everywhere, because I just don't want to have to think about you're Cam. That's right. Like it just won't come out in the moment. But faces and conversations. And there was a party at our co-work space last night, and I saw a face that I recognized from 2 years ago, and I remember the conversation. And David Benner, introduced us. And I was like, we met before. I was like, it was at here, and here. And she goes, were you the guy with the cool business card? It's been 2 years. Wow. But she remembered the tactical business card that I had that was thick. I'm a design nerd. But that I remembered her face and her story.
And the conversation.
And she remembered the fact that I gave her this business card. So I will go back to the business card is rare these days.
Yeah.
And something that people will actually feel like, oh, I don't want to throw that away. Not everybody's going to be like, but just something that when it becomes the conversation itself, you just stamped that memory right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got some like quick hit ones too that I think about, which is one, when you go into a coffee meeting, have a set of questions that you're going to ask. And it can be the same questions you ask always. And one that I always like to do is like, what's a goal of yours in the next 12 months that other people don't know about?
Ooh.
So is there something that you're working on or that you want that you're not really publicizing, says, right? And then that's one. Another one is how can I help you and who can I connect you with outside of just your clients? So like, are there other referral partners you're looking for or something else? And then finally is like, what do you like to do outside of work? So they're simple questions.
Yeah.
But those 3 simple questions, you can get into a really nice conversation and actually build a relationship that is worth following up with.
Yeah.
So having that was definitely one of my to-dos. Don't do is pre-qualify too heavily on the meetings, especially when you're starting out.
Yes.
I think some people try to get ahead of him, like, well, my time is precious, so if you're not going to be a perfect fit, I'm not going to do that. I think you have to earn that a little bit and like don't pre-qualify too quickly. Like have the conversation, but there's tricks you can do. So one is that there's nothing wrong with a 10-minute phone call before you meet for coffee, right? Like, hey, give me a call. I'm around tomorrow. Here's my cell. Let's just catch up. And then we can grab coffee after that. So that kind of helps build the relationship. And without pre-qualifying as well.
Adding to that too, I think whether it's a one-on-one coffee or if you're at a networking event, you don't need to get through qualifying and closing the deal. So when it hits that point, you could say, especially at a networking event, like, hey, I think this is worthy for us to have a follow-up conversation. Give me your card and let's connect next week. Now you've met the goal of that interaction.
Yes.
And now you can move on, right? You don't have to dig into all that and close. Like give them some time and then come back and now have a purposeful meeting about, all right, let's talk about that.
That's play the long game.
Yeah. That's such a great point, because I've been in a networking conversation where I was approached, right? Hey, want to grab coffee? Sure. Let's do it. And so sat down and we had the whole thing, and I wasn't the right fit for him, but I had a connection that I could make, right? But in his mind, I mean, he had his like agenda that he had that he was going through. And I mean, it got to the point where I had to like sit through the whole, like it was just, he could not get out of his own brain. Yes. And I had to sit down the pitch. I was like, dude, I've already, like within 5 minutes, we realized I'm not the right fit for you. And I have somebody for you. I just need to make the intro. Like, I can't do that until we leave.
You ever been invited to an Amway luncheon?
Oh my gosh.
Someone invites you, like, let's connect. And then you get there and 5 minutes in, you realize they're trying to get you to do Amway.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop. I want out of here.
Yes,
Sorry,
please.
Amway, nothing against
I'm
you.
uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
But
Get me out.
He couldn't get out of his own brain to kind of process through. He had to go through his, situation and it was just like, dude.
And that's where I go, he shouldn't be networking.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
If I look at GWC, that individual does not get it.
Yep.
So go do something that you get that you can love and you're not in these situations, right? So just know that about you. Like it takes a certain individual and personality to network really effectively.
But the pressure that he was feeling, I think, was I've got to get a close on this specific call.
Fish on
that
the
was
line.
The tension he felt.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, dude. Like, number one, I'll make the connection. I'll sit down. I'll schedule a meeting with this guy to let you get in to have that close. But I think in his brain, he wanted to get that close right then and there. And it was like, oh, dude, like have the emotional intelligence to see, all right, hey, this isn't going to close right now, but that's okay. Because then you feel desperate and you've come across that way. And it's never good when you get in that situation.
Yeah. You have to act out of abundance, not out of scarcity.
Yes, 100%.
And that was an action out of scarcity.
Yes.
And something I would caution I would provide people is when you were earlier on, you were talking about like, hey, you can get to know people through the gym and the activities that you enjoy doing. I started a business young, and as a marketing guy, as an agency in your 20s, right? Every time you meet someone, I'm like, suspect. Let me see if they're a prospect, right? So the thing I had to do probably in my early 30s was switch to where when I'm not in a business networking setting, do not ask what someone does. It is so hard, but it is so people naturally like, what do you do for work? And you're just, it's almost like there's a judgment to that. Let me qualify you. Let me understand you. But get to know people, because the coolest thing ever is when you get to know someone and you're like, I had no freaking idea he was the CEO of that company.
Exactly
right. So I think that just don't, in a personal setting, even though your business mind is on, don't lead with work. Let someone ask you what you do, but you just lead with the personal stuff. I like you. What do you do? What do you do in your personal time? What are you going to do this weekend? Like those types of things get you deeper quicker than what do you do for a living, Andrew?
Absolutely.
How much money do you make? What kind of car do you drive?
Like, qualification.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. Well, good. Any other hot tips or stay away
I
from?
feel like we could keep going on this forever. This got to be a V2, I think.
I know.
Well, it's such an important part of you have to drive business, and how you do that is you network with people. So it's a critical part of being a professional. Love it or hate it, you got to do it.
And so, one last thing for me is my favorite part is the introduction. So,
I love getting Jamie intros
because I'm like, all right,
they're fantastic.
This came when I was doing recruiting, right? I would introduce two people, I would be like, hey, I would say, Cam, meet Andrew Geisel. Andrew is I'd put some stuff, and then I'd be like, Andrew, meet Cam Lawson.
Yes.
And I'd put some stuff in there. And that was my setup for an interview. But now just doing that intentionally where you connect two people and you give a little random fact, and then I just do the handoff and I'm like, y'all take it from here.
It's easy, but it's really nice from the other side too on how it's teed up.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as it's easy to grab and take on. But what I've learned from you in that is have more fun than you think.
Yeah.
Like than what you may think is even appropriate.
Yeah.
Like put a joke in there or poke fun or do something even in the intros that really lightens it for that next meeting.
Correct.
Right? Like, because now when I sit down with Jeremy for a coffee, it's like this, like we have a joke to even start.
Yeah. Like I met with a friend last Saturday and I texted him, introduced him to you. And I was like, he's the Pied Piper of trade shows.
Yes.
Like that just came out, but it was like, he really is, So just like having these little funny zings.
You can even build templates for that where you have your introduction template. Like I have that where if I'm going to make an intro, and again, it's not, the details are obviously different per person, but the structure of it is the same.
Yes.
And then I also have just a quick 2-3 sentence summary that I'll send somebody if like, hey, let me know if I can make an intro for you. Yeah, absolutely. Here's my little quick bio that you can send somebody. So it's my words that they can go in. And sometimes it is helpful to get their words, but having a little spiel for somebody that maybe isn't as creative or as good of a copywriter.
Yeah. The other thing on that whole subject is that I didn't always prescribe to this thought, but I do now, is that ask both parties before you make the introduction.
Yes.
So even if it's a good buddy and it's Jamie I'm making an introduction to, like I know pretty much who you want and what's going on and like we're close enough, but I still need to ask for that because the timing might not be right. I just can't handle that connection right now. Whatever it might be, you have to get it because they both expect that introduction's coming.
Yeah. And yet on this recent one, like I got a resume, met with the guy, got a resume, sent it to you, said, hey, would you be interested? You said, yeah. And then I sent the text connecting both.
Exactly. Right.
And same thing on the bio, like I just have an email signature template. And if someone asks me for my intro paragraph, I'm like, here's my signature, and it has it there and just kick it out. So be ready, I think, is the key thing.
And it's a good point. This comes from Mike Snively, which is you should have an intro paragraph that you send to your network to say, when you introduce me, this is a paragraph you can use because you're doing half the work for them.
Yeah, he actually introduced me to that. I wrote mine and sent it to him, got feedback. So Mike is a great networker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Maybe anytime.
We'll do it again.
Yep. Next episode coming up. What are we going to hit?
We're going to talk about the ecosystem and tools and support around EOS that can help, or whether it's an individual or organization, but in the EOS world and strengthen implementation.
Awesome. So stay tuned for that.
All right. Until next time.